Okay, on to our next session. So if you saw the short video clip before this, I was able to groom her with the metal curry pretty good. So that was really exciting. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try the same thing. I'm going to try to groom. And my thought process was a lot about kind of consent and choice, where I want to engage with her when she wants to engage, and that kind of communication style. A little frustrated because I'm not using positive reinforcement and a reward-based system besides the release of pressure. So I'm a little annoyed with myself because this would have been the perfect time. So this is me. I don't know why I thought that would be an ask question. That's scary. Let me just throw my arm at you. How are you going to react? It's going to be not good. You're going to be confused. You're going to be like, what does that mean? Move away? Okay, I'll move away. So, and it is kind of interesting to watch these back because I feel, and this is humanizing her, that she is saying, let's do some positive reinforcement because I know I got food when you did stuff last time. And I enjoyed that process. I enjoyed the grain. I enjoyed the hay. Let's go back to that. And I'm just a little blindfold over my head where I'm just like, la-da-da. Why won't she engage with me? Why is she not interested in me? Because there's no reward. What is her reward for being with me, for doing stuff with me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's my domestic in the background. I had this thought that she could get lonely, and she does not care about other horses, at all. She really could care less. They're also mowing down, the barnyard kind of grass. I don't have a lawnmower, so they are my lawnmowers. But yeah, so a little frustrating because this is just where you want to shake me and be like, she's trying to tell you something. Why aren't you listening? Got wool over your eyes or something. So I'm just going to speed this portion up because while I do get somewhere, you can see I'm actually grooming. This is really exciting. She's really disengaged. I really don't like her attitude in the sense of she's not interested. There's no reward for her. She's very just stiff and just not there. And that's me taking, okay, that's your reward for dealing with me. You're interested, but it's pretty short-lived. She's like, let's do the food thing. The food thing was really fun. Let's do that. I did try to get kind of to a new spot every time I groomed, just so she could have a touch everywhere. I should have broken it down. This is me just trying to figure it out. I'm obviously doing something wrong. She's not interested. And the thing is, I don't want to jump on her when she is interested, right? I want this communication, but I don't know how I want to communicate. So I'm just you know what? I'm going to take a break. Clean up. Sometimes I do start I clean up the first thing I do, and then sometimes I do it in the middle of the session just to force myself to give a break. And I do like that because, again, I need to force myself to take a break because I'm not giving her breaks, and I just give breaks. Even with positive reinforcement, I think there's a lot of mental stuff happening, right? And they need a break. I like how she follows me around. I like that engagement. I like her curiosity. I think that's a really good thing. She's always pretty interested in the barn when we go away. She's one of those too cool for school people where she's oh, I don't really care about you. But then the moment you walk away, she's like, wait, where are you going? What's happening? Which you can kind of see a little bit even before she's super into me. Okay, so everyone clap because I've had a thought hey, she really liked that positive reinforcement stuff. Maybe I should give that a shot. As you can see, she's like super into it. This is a bit of overstimulation, so don't quite recommend starting as much as I did. She also, see, she's like, that's where it came from. And you notice I'm not like correcting the behavior because I know you don't want to use a negative thing. You want to reward the good behavior and for the most part, ignore the bad behavior. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm not a trainer. These are not how-tos. If you're interested in positive reinforcement, look up the multiple professionals that are really good. Don't follow me because I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing it right, I think, a lot of the time, but like, yeah, anyway. I will say, though, one of the things you first need to teach is a calm default stance where they're in a neutral position that you like, and that's what they get rewarded for, right? Is a neutral position. So it stops the mugging, it stops maybe the overstimulation, and kind of when I'm not asking you to do something, just be in this position and you'll get rewarded for it. So this is just me saying, okay, I'm going to be in her space and I'll reward her for it. So, bit slow. Yeah. She takes forever to eat too. She had a little trouble like finding the grain in the beginning too. So I think at one point in the session, I get a smaller bowl to put in the pan so then she can easily get the grain. But yeah, she also gets like kind of not obsessive, but just like at some point she just starts like gnawing on the bucket because I think she thinks it's going to have more. So there's just a little bit of translation for positive reinforcement that is not happening. And then when it's empty, she gets mad. Again, she's a par, which is a good and bad thing. I mean, bad because it's a lot of aggressive behavior. I guess aggressive, I don't know. Overstimulated behavior. It's kind of a good thing because it really tells me what she's thinking. Okay, and I made a mistake there. She's interested in me, so I want to reward her curiousness, but I'm actually rewarding her mugginess, like the step before mugging. I'm rewarding that with the treat. And I don't necessarily like that because you don't want that. Again, she's very clear with her body language. So here she says, give me, and I'm rewarding it. See, don't do this. This is why it's not a how-to. What I think I'm rewarding and what she thinks she's getting rewarded for, I think at the beginning, there's a translation issue because I think I'm rewarding her for being in my space and being comfortable, but like she's being rewarded for being in my space. And of course she's going to continue to do that. She's being rewarded for it. So again, this is a little bit of me fumbling and just trying to figure out how to communicate with her. I keep not finishing my thought. So the pawing is like kind of good because it tells me when she's feeling like stressed or frustrated or just like there's a lot of emotions in my little body. Like later when we work on standing and stuff like that, she'll like lift her leg when we're standing too long. So I think it's a good indication of like, hey, you know, we need a break, or I'm not too crazy about what we're doing. So it's a bad thing, but it's kind of a good thing. She's very clear about her body language with the nose, with the ears, with the paws. Like my domestic is not as open about her body language. So it's really interesting that she is so open about it. But I mean, it's probably a Mustang thing. I mean, they're very clear communicators, but again, it's a really interesting experience. Okay, I'm gonna speed up really quick because I'm getting more grain and pellets and her mixture, and also a smaller bucket because, like I said, she had trouble finding the grain. So I've messed up already. You probably know what's coming. She nips at me And I'm like, don't do that. Because that's just my natural reaction. But I'm like, okay, what do I do now? And this is kind of where I start blaming her, I think. Because I'm like, oh. And then she like is a little bit more aggressive. Don't do this. I messed up because I had rewarded that behavior. I had told her that was good. And then all of a sudden I'm like, no, that's bad. With like no indication that it was bad before I just like reacted. Also, don't send them. I don't know. I was just like, I got a little confused, and I'm just making excuses for myself because I didn't want a safety thing. But there's ways to do that without sending them around with pressure and doing everything. Again, hindsight is 20/20, and I'm like, I needed to be more aggressive with my nose because she's aggressive with her nose. No, I didn't. I just needed to be clear about stuff and also like actually communicate with her, because me just blowing up on her all of a sudden is not communicative. So now I'm like feeling kind of crummy because I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. I feel bad. So now I'm like, okay, we'll just move on from that. And that's hard because I remember this part being a little bit difficult because like you cluck for the bridge signal, but by the time I'm getting the food out and putting it into the pan, she's in my space. So I'm not sure like where the reward is happening. And I remember being fairly confused about that part. It's supposed to be the bridge signal, the click, the cluck, whatever. But I just wasn't sure if that was like actual in practice, because I'm not a professional. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I figure it out, but like this early stage is really awkward. So follow professionals, look into professionals, get professional advice. Don't fumble around like I did. It's silly. I don't know why. Like, okay, so the whole time I've been like, she doesn't like my hand. She doesn't like my hand. And I'm like offering my hand. And she doesn't like it. But I reward her for like trying. I don't know why I'm pressing her so much. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to press her like every 5 seconds. I need to just take slower steps and break it down. And I'm not. I don't know. This was a good session because I kind of figured out that I do like positive reinforcement. There's improvement in the sense of where we're at and how she's okay with me. I say okay very lightly. But I've messed up a good couple times in this session. And there's actually the video after this. I've weirdly clipped the video. I don't know where the whole original of the session is, but the next video will be me introducing some targeting, because I was like, oh, she doesn't like my hand. So I'm just going to do targeting to like do some positive reinforcement. And the whole lead up to that video is this video where I've messed up a good couple times. Like I really have. And I don't realize that I've messed up, right? Like, I think it's going okay. But, like, she's not happy. Like, this whole behavior is not good. I'm not communicating. She's communicating that she does not like it. And I'm really frustrated watching myself because, again, I should have broken it down. I should have just really thought about it. Because look how engaged she is. Like, she's engaged. It's just, I need to find where the level of engagement and her comfort level is, right? Like, where's her comfort level? And let's do a baby step off that. And then we can move on. But it's all me fumbling around.